You know what? I just realized that I bought too many fragrances. And this is, why? How did this happen? Alright. Well, when you are amidst your fragrance craze, that's how I would call it. I was on such a, I was on such a roll, I was hooked, really, and I just wanted them all of them that I could get. But what it happens? Actually, it's a fragrance mania, and I see it happening now to many people, especially those who are, below 40, something like that. They just buy and buy stuff, and sometimes without really trying it. They hear from somebody, oh, this is really good, this is great, something new usually, and then they just go out and buy it. Sometimes, as I said, without trying it, which is called blind buying, too blind buy fragrances or whatever you haven't tried before. And I just did that actually not long ago. So one thing you must know, trust why I did this now after all this, after having some experience with this, not being totally fresh and green and naive, is that I listened to these lists actually, or paid heed to those. I saw this list at the end of last year or something like that. Yeah, late last year of top 10 new fragrances that have just come out. And this one, not gonna mention, it was number one. I mean, you have who have seen it know that which one I'm talking about. But out of respect for the company, I don't wanna, really disclose the name and all that. But I had to order it online because the trick is when you live, especially in a country where all this isn't available in your stores and stuff like that, and this is a new company. It's kind of hard to get a decant and stuff like that. Then you sometimes have no choice but to go just with the instinct. And what kind of guide do you use? Guideline or what guiding tool? You use the internet, right? The internet. So that's how it happens. So then you just have to trust the internet people who you know, wrote good review about this race, and hope you're gonna like it. Well, what happened? I waited for this for quite a long time, over a week anyway, to arrive, because it arrived from the other side of the Atlantic, and when it finally arrived, I was just like, hmm, that's it. Nice, but nothing special. Kind of, the problem is that for some people, I believe, I'm sure, and I've seen reviews that were very complimentary of this phrase. But this is the thing: we are all different. You cannot trust the fragrance reviewers because I have found out that 100 times already. I see a guy rave about this kind of fragrance, and then I go out, I see it, I try it, and I'm like, this is the one. Come on. This is nowhere near as good as that guy or that girl said. So, you cannot trust. I mean, we all have different tastes. I mean, yeah, I can see this one also that I just bought or got. I can see people liking it. Why not? But to me personally, I don't kind of like that, sort of scent. I mean, I don't hate it, but I find it kind of weird and not really very, very pleasing, pleasant. sorry, pleasant or pleasing. It's about the same thing. So yeah, but when you are really hooked on this stuff, you just go out. That's why basically every weekend more or less I went out to the city to try out for stuff. I was like, sometimes I was such a fool. I was such a fool. I would try, like, just smell for like 5 seconds. Oh, that's nice. Let's buy it. And you can do that, of course. You don't know how it will smell after 10 minutes or half an hour or an hour, you know. And of course, sometimes they smell really good, but they don't last. They just, evaporate so quickly. It doesn't matter how many times you spray them on, So that's also a good thing to remember always, of course. Yeah, I think I just was very like naive and green. In 2021, that was my worst year. Definitely when it comes to that. I was just buying, man, I would buy fragrance like every second, every other week. It was crazy. It was crazy. I don't think it ever went like, I don't know if it ever went like a month without me buying fragrance or ordering one online or whatever. Well, I didn't order so many. Fortunately, I didn't have so many blind buys, but I did have a few, yeah. And these kind of shops, they have these, discounts. And when one thing I can tell you, don't become a member, alright? Because they will constantly bombard you with these discounts. Then you are like, you get too tempted to say, why not, let me buy that. And you haven't even tried it. Fragrance, but you see the name, the company, and let them say, oh, since it's, Yves Saint Laurent, it must be good, whatever, or, Tom Ford. And then you wind up disappointed. You're like, all right, you know, I know I didn't pay the full price for it, but even this wasn't worth it. So, yeah, I've done that quite a lot. I mean, several times in the last few months also. And I can say only once have really, really been really like, how to say it, thrilled. Only once have I really been thrilled with this blind buy over the internet. Only once so far, actually. That is really kind of, made me go, wow, I'm so happy I got this. So there you go. You must give it a better thought, and you must try it. Sometimes it's also good. You go to the store, try it once, and then next, after a few days, you come back, try it again, and that can be a good idea also, because then you are sure you're really like you. It's worth it. So that also, because sometimes we are just too easy, kind of, we get fall for the impression, like if something is very like, I don't know, different than something else that you have tried, kind of has this kind of whatever seductive or kind of exciting kind of scent, then you are like, yeah, I have to have this. But then may turn out in the long run after the dry down, it's not as great as you expected, or it didn't last as long as it should and stuff like that. So of course, the thing with the last thing with that's kind of hard, to predict, because you cannot just just cannot spray something on you then stand there in the shop for like 1 hour, wait to see how it develops. But of course, that's just the gamble we all must take. That's the the punt with buying any fragrance. If you love the top note, you may not love the dry down, the base note. If you don't like the top note, that's also important because sometimes people don't like the top note. They just no, I don't want that. But sometimes you have to wait till a few couple of minutes, and then maybe the scent that you really like will come out. So yeah, you gotta be patient. So I just wanted to give you all an advice on how to pick the right fragrance for you. And as I said, don't fall for this trend BS. Like, oh, it's tone four, I gotta have a tone four. Or I gotta have an oud or a leather fragrance. Yeah, but do you like oud? Do you like leather? Do you like smelling like rotten fungus tree, whatever it wood is, something like that, as far as I can understand. Do you like really want to smell like that? Or like leather seeds or whatever, So, yeah, I mean, I was talking to this guy recently, he's from the Middle East, and he said, they use oud as like some sort of, the same way that we use incense in Europe. And he says he likes to smell it that way, like in the house, but he doesn't want it on him, like as a perfume. So that's just another point. So don't fall for the big brands. Don't be too impressionable, and just take your time while you are gonna buy a fragrance. Take your time. Don't rush it. Don't rush it, or you will regret it. Alright, so those are my advices to you. Thank you for who will watch this. See you.